Good evening, everyone. Uh, I'm just finishing up a phone call with my campaign manager, and so I'm putting my phone down. We're finished. We're gone. We've gone live. Thank you for your patience and sticking around for us and waiting on us while we got everything going. And welcome to tonight. I'd like to also state that I'm running up against an incumbent, a very powerful incumbent. And I need your help. I really do. I need your help to get the word out. I'm not asking you for money tonight. I'm asking for your help. My independent, my remote canvassers, as you are tonight, I'd like for you to consider going out there and sharing this broadcast right now, if you would, so that people can get the word. And hopefully we'll get more people to join in with us. Last night we spoke about women, of all things, women. And there is no way, shape, or form that a woman doesn't cross our path many times during the day. We talked about the inequality economically as far as wages. We talked about their health care and how they are denied choices that are their right. We talked about the contribution that women make to our society. And it's very important that we continue to think about that. It's not something that we can talk about and say it's okay. We need to think about the plight of the women in this country, their economic earning power, their health issues, what they do. I mean, without a woman, there are no more children. Without a woman, there are no villages. For a lot of things, women hold society together. Sometimes women are right there at the forefront of issues that affect each and every one of us every day. But I want you to think about women more in a positive way. I know that the people coming on here and viewing this feed is and are very pro-women rights. And it's important that we maintain that, at least what we have now, but expand and recover what we may have lost, women clinics and everything else. So if you'd like to continue that thought, just know that it's constantly on my mind. I'd like to switch gears here and go to what's happening in Houston, Texas, and the Gulf states. Houston, Texas was hit very hard by the hurricane, and residents are still reeling. Tragic deaths, and also many other things that are happening when catastrophic events happen. I would like to announce that I saw in a news feed that the Marine Corps and their amphibious units are there to assist other first responders in gathering up those who may still be stranded in high waters on top of their houses. Excuse me. But also that they're there to offer technical support. Anyway, it's the Marine Corps, and they are the finest amphibious unit in the world. And they are there assisting in recovery and helping first responders in a much wider scope than what they have initially right now. So hoorah to the Marine Corps, Semper Fi brothers and sisters. I know that you're on station, and that should be a little bit of peace to the residents there. That is a prime example of repurposing our military for humanitarian efforts. And by our military being repurposed, it doesn't mean that we're losing that military readiness. What it does is it still gives our units the ability to carry out their mission. and that is to defend and protect the United States and all who live within it. So hats off to the Marine Corps and all those other units down there as first responders. Thoughts and prayers go to those people. And it's just a fine example, as I just said, a repurposing of our military. It's a good thing tonight that I get a chance to talk with you. Last night and the night before, we didn't quite get the amount of people that I wanted to see. A couple of nights before, we had like 8,000, then 12,000, 4,000. But without my technical support here with me, I'm counting on you, the viewers, if you would. And several of you have in the last couple of days. I think you kind of realize that, hey, there's not as many people here. So if you would, make sure you copy and share, just share the video. And this way, hopefully, we'll get a lot more people. Remember, I know that a lot of you are not in the Washington State area and you cannot vote for me. But in your area, there's also a lot of people who are progressive, those who are thinking and listening to you. And I can get up here and I can talk and I can talk and I can talk. But what I want to do, I have my platform and the positions of that platform. But what I'd like to do is actually hear what's coming from you. What is affecting you? What is something that our government you thought was going to do and isn't doing? What is it that you, wherever you live, what is it that you're experiencing with going on in our society, within your neighborhood, within your state, your region? A lot of states, they form together and create regions. But I need to know from you, everyone that's watching this, what is your biggest concern? Your top 3 biggest concerns, okay? And I'm also requesting that you also send me in those requests so that we can have a future broadcast addressing those issues for you. When we do, we'll put it well publicized ahead of time about what issues we're taking and going to talk about that evening. And I'm hoping that at that time you'll be able to join in, and your questions that you put together are part of the forum that we have that night. I mean, I know it's going to be exciting. We're going to pinpoint an issue, and we're going to build on what we can do, tear down what is it not doing, and hopefully we'll come up with all the solutions we need. Doesn't mean every one of them will be accepted, but it does mean this. Everyone that's on that show that night will get a chance to see what everyone's talking about. And these videos, every one of them are saved. And they're available for additional viewing. If there was something that you missed or something you saw in a feed, you'll be able to see the comments are there too. The entirety, comments and everything are saved for future reference or sharing to your friends. I see a lot of my first videos being shared quite a bit. And so I need to get more input from you. Or I can just talk about the issues and the positions that I hold on them. I'm going to let you make the call. We have a holiday coming up. Yes, Labor Day. Thank you for unions. Thank you for the movement that got us those holidays. Labor Day is for the worker. And so it's not a revolution, it's for the worker. Okay? You out there like me, I was a worker. I'm retired, but came out of retirement. And I just want to, have you reflect on what unions have done. the middle class. Where are you as far as your life goals? Uh, what's going to change so that you can make those goals happen? Make that dream come to reality. The dreams are a way for us to nurture our ideas, build on our ideas, and hopefully we'll be able to do what we want to do with our life. My dream is to live along a lake. Well, maybe one day that will happen. It'll take a lot of hard work, but it'll take some time to do it. But you can visualize what you want. Uh, so, Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend on my street, and I want everyone to know, if you're here Sunday around 2 o'clock, you can eat barbecue, um, many different flavors, spicy, mild, hot. It's going to be a very tasty situation. You'll get to see what happens when a community comes together and puts their minds to making things better for their neighbors. I'm sure a lot of you've already experienced that, but you're invited. If you're in the Tacoma area, you're invited to come and see us. Um, do I want to tell you my address? I don't know. Do I? I see that my campaign manager's online. What do you say, Greg? You think we ought to put that out there? Put out the address where the party's going to be? It's not a party, not a lot of drinking and stuff like that. It's kind of like a celebration of community coming together. There'll be a lot of children here. Neighborhood children will be strolling in, I'm sure, once they start smelling the grill and they see the other kids going to get some. Where'd you get that? Oh, we got it over there. We got it over there. Over there. Go get some. They're giving it away. um, it's a celebration. It's a celebration of life. It's a celebration of coming together. And if you're in the Tacoma area, stop in and see us. We're right off of Portland Avenue. Stop in and see us. You can also private message me. You can go to our website and call for directions. Let me see here. Let's see who wants to attend first. Who wants to come to a party? You don't have to bring nothing but yourself. You have some kids? I got a playground out front. I mean, a really nice playground too, with benches and chairs and tables. So you can grab some food, go over there to the table and eat. There's also trash cans and stuff. What do you say? Let's find out who wants to come. And let's see here. Trying to I'm trying to make a copy of this here so I can forward it on, but I can't seem to do it on my end. I can't copy the link so that I can. And if I share it, it'll go right to one of my other pages, probably the same one we're watching. But I want to know who wants to come to a party. Let's see, there'll be barbecue, country style pork. The ribs, see those? Okay, they'll be on a stick, easy handling. We're going to make it as eco-friendly as we can, so not a lot of styrofoam plates and all that stuff. And let's see here. And as it said, if you want to come, we'll message us here at Dave Strider for U.S. Senate for the Labor Day party. I mean, the neighborhood, my friends, my neighbors in here, they are excited about this party. They are excited that some of you may be stopping by. So think about it. It's a nice party. It's pretty good. Those of you who know me in Tacoma, come on over. Come on over and have some barbecue. I know that our most recent guest, he might be able to get a flight out here in time, but that's okay, Justin. And good evening to you. but we're having a party, and it's a neighborhood type thing. We're not promoting any beer consumption. You know, I'm sure some of the neighbors will be drinking some, but we're not endorsing any open containers or anything else. This is basically, I'm advertising food and just good times. Take it from there, okay? Uh, but it is Labor Day. Some of you will be traveling, and in that time of travel, expect gas prices maybe to jump when you get ready to go to the pump this weekend or on the way back from your destination back home. As I mentioned earlier, the events in Texas, they shut down refineries. Okay, some of the refineries have been damaged because of the storm. And because of that, it's going to take some while to get the production of gasoline back up. Gasoline, heating oil, because we're getting ready to come into that season, so they're getting prepped for that. We also have diesel fuel. And if you're thinking about buying an electric car, you should probably buy it no later than this weekend. I know that electric cars, with the fact that many automobiles were lost during this past storm, people are going to be looking for electric cars, or hybrids to get around because of the range that they offer. So something to think about. This weekend, your fuel expenses may go up. There may be delays. I wish the people in the Gulf states were able to enjoy this weekend. And so anyway, think about your travels this weekend. Be safe. Try not to speed. Try not to tailgate. Give motorcyclists plenty of room, at least 3 car lengths. Be courteous. And let your wife drive. Women drivers are probably the most conscientious drivers out there. Probably less prone to road rage than us guys are. But do be safe on the highways. Keep your family safe. Make sure you have plenty of fuel where you're going. Just all the safety things. Make sure you got a first aid pack, plenty of bottled water, just in case you get stranded someplace. It could be hot. And remember to hydrate this weekend with water. When I go out, I'm designated driver. Okay. I like seeing my friends go out and have a good time, and I like to make sure that they get home. So to all my friends and family, and those I have never met yet, be safe and have a great time. Now, let's see what we have here. We're still pushing the Labor Day party address. So if you'd like to come out and enjoy some good company, have some fun. We're closing off the streets so the kids can skateboard and that kind of stuff. We're neighborhood geared here. I know all my kids are back east, but excuse me, there's a lot of great kids out here, and our neighbors have a lot of great kids. And so it's important that we do what we can on festive events like this one here. We'll probably make it a standard practice after this. We'll see how it rolls. Just closing off the streets so the kids can have fun and not worry about speeding automobiles. And I can't emphasize the fact that safety. Labor Day is what? Brought to us by unions, people that worked hard. So have a great time. And I'm looking for some questions tonight. I've spoke about some of the highlights with the hurricane in the Gulf states. There's a need for supplies. I've spoke about the repurposing of our military forces without affecting our military readiness. There's some good things that are happening out there in the world today, and that's recovery efforts in Houston. There are good things that are happening around the country where people are showing a little bit more compassion for each other. And so just constantly think about those efforts. What you do to someone today, they may do to you tomorrow. And if it was something good that you did for them, hopefully it'll be good for you tomorrow too as well. Also, healthcare, they've been talking about single payer. Are they going to mention that it's as easy as your Social Security card? Well, it is. And it's already in the system. It's just, as I mentioned the other evening, changing a pathway and just hooking it up, making that link. First year tech students could put that together, okay? So single payer is a possibility for us. And we're starting to get some shares on the thing. I encourage you all to share, okay? I'm not asking for money right now. I'm just asking that you share it with your friends. Who knows? They might be your next senator or congressman. And the reason you share it to them because in the first place, they're your friend. 2, you share common values. 3, what I'm saying gets out to everyone. And hopefully it will excite the population, the electorate population in areas that I am not eligible to be voted for. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to have a Marco Rubio moment. Water, champagne of Mother Nature. Which brings me to the point, we can survive without oil, but we can't survive without water. Clean water, safe water. Do you have safe water in your town? Are you on a well system? Are you sure that fracking material isn't being leached into your aquifer? Do you test your water on a regular basis? We take for granted opening a bottle of water, quenching our thirst. And that's what the water protectors out there, they're the first people. And they want to make sure that their water is safe. But the funny thing is, they sit on the headwaters, okay? They sit on the headwaters that supplies millions of other people downstream. And what are they also trying to do? Protect their water as well. So when you see them protesting and everything, give them a toast and thank them for the fresh water. Now, granted, the water that you're drinking right now may not be because of the water protectors. But if we don't support them, if we don't support the cause of having fresh water in our districts, in our homes, in the areas that we live, then industry, based on their current model, will destroy every last drop of that water. It only takes a teaspoon of less than that to destroy 100,000 gallons of fresh water. And if you've been to some of the lakes back in Ohio, they stink. Lake Cowan back in the 90s started to get a really horrific odor. Rocky Fork Lake, back in the 90s, it got closed down. I can't remember ever when that lake was closed down. A beautiful lake for fishing, boating, swimming. Lake Cowan, it was the closest place that we'd go. There are other places, just not in Ohio, but I'm sure in your area where you live. The water has gotten stagnant, or the water has become unsafe, or they're telling you that there's E. coli in it. Where did the E. coli come from? So the next time you pick up a bottle of water, thank the water protectors. Next time you pick up a bottle of water, think about what you're doing to protect your water source. Out here in the West, there are shortages of water because of the wide open plains and the arid landscape. And there is a big battle all the time with water rights, fighting over it for pasture and for the cattle and sheep. Water rights fights for drink, water rights for farming and irrigation. And there's just not that much. Okay, and it's going to go away if we don't conserve and protect what we have. California thinks that all those rains that they got and how it filled up their reservoirs and everything so quickly, that their drought was over. What people don't realize is those aquifers, those lakes, collector points were dried. The dirt was, you could see how dry and parched it was. It was just the next stage, sand. And they think it's over. Well, as that water that rained, that it's settled in those lakes, as it soaks into the ground, that level is going to begin to decrease, not only from use, but it's also going to go into the ground. It's going to take some while because the soil that is catching it was so arid. And then when you have heavy rains like they had in California then, what happens? Landslides, because of the way they've overbuilt some of these areas that they should have had a lot bigger eco impact study on whether or not to build them. So, if you would, hats off to the water protectors, because their job isn't going to be done for a very long time. Also, do you like fish? Salmon is king out here in the Northwest. Well, we had a fishery out here. Oh, this is wild now. We had a fishery out here that was farm raising Atlantic salmon. There's a difference between Atlantic salmon and Pacific. I like to think that our salmon are better, bigger, tastier. And this last eclipse, the pens that they were in broke or opened somehow. They blamed it on, people were blaming it on the high tides. They weren't high tides. They just broke and they got out. Okay. What's ever man-made can be broken. Just know that. If we make it, it's prone to breakage. We can make it last for a long time. We put guarantees on it, like the Sears tools of days old. Cars with 100,000-mile warranties, bumper to bumper. But cars are going to break. Things are going to break if we make it. And so that trap that broke, those Atlantic salmon got out. We have our first people out here, which their main food source is salmon. And now all those other salmon and they're GMOs, some of them, have been in the market now for several years, and probably a lot of us have been eating it and not knowing it, thinking, oh, Atlantic salmon, this should be good, because they don't have to put it on there, remember? And so there's a good chance we've been getting GMOs in our food from the Atlantic salmon. I'm not downplaying them, but this is farm-raised salmon. This is not your natural salmon out there in the wild. This is not wild salmon like we get in our rivers here that we catch. But they're farm-raised, full of GMOs. And we've been eating it now for several years. If you're ingesting Atlantic salmon, farm-raised. Something about raising it by farm, it makes it safer. I don't know. I don't think so. Well, I'm almost done with my Marco Rubio impression. He's younger, darker, and probably more handsome than I am, but that's okay. That's okay. It would be nice to be younger, but if I lost what I know now, it would be not worth it. So, as my Marco Rubio event ends, please reach out to the water protectors. Thank them for what they're doing. take them a couple of cases of water if you can, especially if they're protesting pipelines, et cetera, and you have the ability to get it there to them. Get it there to them. That's a very kind offer that you can take for them, especially if they have to clean tear gas and things like that, pepper spray. If they are getting sprayed, it might be a good idea to take gallons of 2% milk out there so that you can take some of the pepper sting away. Okay? Something to think about. Pay attention to your local news where you have protesters fighting pipelines going across the aquifers, and do what you can. Well, we're coming up on the 30 minutes here pretty soon. I'd like to get some feedback, if I could, from you, questions that are interest to you. Do you want to continue the discussion on women's rights? Because I'm going to bring it up again. It's not something that we can just wash under the table. We need to discuss this on a regular basis. My viewing audience is 40% and up as far as women participation. And because of that, I need to make sure that they understand that I'm going to make sure that their voice is heard. And please, give me your questions. Also, share these videos. We've been going through a transition period here. My production staff is on the East Coast now. And it takes me a little bit of time to catch up with what they're doing and what they can do for me. So please bear with that. But our planned broadcasts are every night at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And as soon as we coordinate all this time goes, we will be rebroadcasting the same broadcast, probably with a different subject for that night, or continue that subject on the same night, but in a 3-hour time difference to catch the Pacific crowd. But we're going to, we're working on that coordination right now. So please bear with us while we coordinate our East Coast production and our West Coast performance. And I say performance because right now I don't have any jokes to tell, and I need another Marco Rubio moment if you'd give me a break. Listen, I'm just an ordinary guy, okay, with a passion to speak out against injustice. I'm not going to lie to you. I need your help. I need you to share whenever you can these videos. I'm going up against a super bad incumbent. She's a 2-term. She's with the DNC. She's a super delegate. And I'm going up against that. It's not going to be easy. That's why I need your assistance in sharing these videos. Go back into this website here and pick out the ones that you'd like to share. And please share them. Also, make a comment so that I can, and drop me an email or a notice or something. I will get it. And someone in what we have going on right now with an organization will pick it up and pass that along, and we'll start compiling those talking points. Now, if it's one of those current events, we're going to jump on it straight away, okay? It's going to be right there, right now, okay? I'll do my best to be your Johnny on the spot, okay? I've got a fine staff. There's 3 of us right now. And you guys out there, you are too part of the staff, because it's you is the reason I'm here. And I want to make sure that we reach as many people as we can with the issues and solutions that we are proposing and going to propose in the U.S. Senate. I'm not afraid of anybody. People have told me, Dave, you got to watch out what you're saying. You know, some of these people, you know, they may hurt you. And I said, I like that. I like that. They're going to finally show me their face. I like that. I like that. I like that a whole lot. So anyway, I'm not an Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not a Jean-Claude Van Damme or Bruce Lee or anything like that. But yes, I want them to get in my face. I want them to show themselves for who they are. I don't like congressmen and elected officials making innuendos, threats that some weirdo that's listening to them is going to carry out. I mean, if you're making broadcasts that you really shouldn't oppose Trump because, well, if you value your life, you really shouldn't oppose Trump. Well, guess what? As long as he acts like someone who doesn't have a clue about what's going on, he goes to Houston and holds a big flag, and shows it to the people. Oh, what a crowd, what a crowd. While not addressing the needs of the people, we're going to have the greatest one. Don't worry, this will be the biggest rescue. In just words, 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 words. And I'm grateful that the Marine Corps is there now, assisting the first responders there in Texas. I'm not trying to get down on the president, but he has too many yes men around there, and they tell him to do these things, and perhaps they are setting him up for a fall. And they're waiting for someone like Mike Pence to get in there and Paul Ryan to where they can run gambit over the whole nation. We've already had trillions of dollars taken from us. Our Social Security has been robbed $16 trillion since the presidency of Ronald Reagan. And throughout the time to present time, Social Security has been used to balance budgets so that they can give breaks to the 1%. I know that MMT is going to come up too, but I have a couple of online classes I'll be attending here in the very near future. My campaign is setting those up for us so that we can get those that learning curve met. I want to be able to discuss it. I want to be able to understand it. So when someone says to me MMT, I'll see how my knowledge and my understanding of that particular theory and practice coincides with what I have so long expounded on. Now, I'm hoping that within the next couple of weeks that we're going to see a change in what our government's doing. But they're not. You see the post office in the red because we're making them finance their retirement system completely. We're making them finance their retirement system completely. Now, we know what happens to retirement funds. We know what happens. The United States Post Office is one of the heirlooms of this nation. But every time there's a big pool of money for the people that they have set aside and it's their retirement, it's going to be their livelihood. What happens? These people come along, these elected officials, in the pockets of the 1%, clean it out. They clean it out. They take it, they line their pockets, and, money talks. Let's see how many of those people who are elected officials, well, how are they millionaires? Well, it seems to me that there's a lot of millionaires in the Congress. I'm going there to find out why. I know why. And I'm going to also tell them what they are. They're thieves. They're liars. They've manipulated. They've coerced. They sent men and women to die. They're ready to fund wars. They give money to rogue nations like Saudi Arabia, the fight in Yemen, the starvation that's going on, the starvation in the Sub-Sahara, Israel stealing land from Syria and Jordan, drilling oil in the Golan Heights. It's not their height. I'm not against Israel, but I'm against what they're doing. People are dying in Palestine. Why? Rockets, schools. Kids have no place to go to school. There's no drinking water. Limited electricity because Israel shuts it off. They shut it off. I'm not against Israel. I'm against what they're doing. And we are supporting it with our tax dollars. That has to stop. We cannot support that type of warfare. You want somebody coming here and doing that to us? Would you stand for it? We don't do it as a nation, but we do. We starve our own people. Oh, we don't do that. Yes, we do. People in Flint have no water. Oh, yes, they do, but not to drink. And that is the thing that is going on, drilling and not thinking about the consequences of their actions. We need to create better relations with our worldwide neighbors by having a military that is the eighth largest. It's not the eighth largest. It is the largest of the next 8 nations. And you guys are worried about Korea? The fear mongering that goes on? Worried about Korea? Don't worry. General Mathias, he's in charge. Well, he's not a general, he's secretary now. Not to worry. Not to worry. He's a Marine. He's got the situation in control. He's fully alert as to what's going on. And he will make sure that we are protected, that our defense is at the ready. Hate mongering, war mongering, fear mongering, all have to stop. We are a republic. Don't forget it. We need to make sure that we take care of the people that are here in this nation. We've got to make sure that before we go sending our troops out, what are we going to do when they get home? Is there going to be a VA for them? From what I hear, a lot of people do not want to have the VA. And I'll tell you what, if it's not for the Veterans Administration, you wouldn't have this Nicoderm patch. Veterans wouldn't be recovering. And there are a host of private organizations out there who support and assist the veterans. And when we have to rely on private organizations to help our veterans, our wounded men and women, when we need private organizations to do that, to do what the Veterans Administration was set up to do. I'm not bad-mouthing the Veterans Administration right now. I receive the greatest health care from them right now. But I know a lot of people have gone in there, and there's staffing. We need additional staffing. If you're going to give the military complex hundreds of billions of dollars, we'd like to have 25% of that for veterans care, period. We'd like to have 25% of that budget for veterans care. That is not a whole lot of money because it takes a lot to repair that veteran. I am fortunate as a veteran that I never saw a live fire. I'm a Marine, and I am one of the fortunate Marines who never saw a live fire. But I can tell you this, in my heart, I knew I was ready for it, I was trained for it, and I believed in it, that I could survive, and also with a big hope that I would. But I also knew that some of my brothers and sisters would not be returning in the event we went live fire. Today we have a lot of men and women who have multiple tours. We defeated Japan, Germany, Italy in what, 6 years? 7 years at the most, maybe 6.5 years if you consider the 38 invasion of some of the other nations and annexed nations of countries, or the war that was going on a long time with Japan and China, which escalated into a very big regional world war which brought us in. I'm talking history because so many people have forgot where we have been, what put us here in this superpower status. And, we talk about Russia a lot too, in our elections, 2016s, which I still don't believe that happened. But the Russian people during World War II, millions, multi-millions, tens of millions of Russian citizens, civilians, perished at the hands of Nazis. So when I see a Nazi flag, I kind of, okay, this hate group that's out there and they want to rebirth it here in America, go do that in Germany. They'll jack your jaw real quick, buddy. Okay? They buried that. Why are you wanting to resurface it? And then I saw the Aryan flag nation, the Aryan nation, and a battle flag, a Virginia battle flag, the Johnny Reb flag. Okay, but it's a Virginia battle flag, and then you got the Nazi flag right there, all three of them together in our nation. How do you tolerate that? But Soviet Union, Stalin, Joseph Stalin, he wasn't the best man in the world, but he got his people to join together and to stand and to fight. Yeah, there were people who got overrun in the early days of World War II and the invasion of Russia, and some of them, okay, you're the boss, okay, and they did their best to survive. But I will tell you this: the Russian people, as a whole, they fought fascism, they fought Nazis to the death, and they won. If it hadn't been for the Russian effort in WW2, that war could have dragged on into the 50s. Hitler could have had the bomb. We would have lost, probably the war. Or we would have suffered greater casualties here in the United States. But because of the efforts of the Russian people, we were able to win. Their blood, their sacrifice turned the tide. They turned the tide. So think about that the next time you see Putin getting in the way of our elections. The DNC admitted that in court last week, folks. They were dismissed, charges dismissed, but the fact came out that yes, they chose who they wanted to. They didn't care about your vote. So if you want to talk about throwing away votes, think about the vote for democracy that you made by choosing a DNC candidate named Hillary Clinton. If you voted for Hillary, you might as well have voted for Trump. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. You could have voted for an alternate. You could have voted for the Green candidate, and we wouldn't have the mess we have now with the orangutan and the. And I say these things because they say do unto others as you should do unto others. That you want them to do to you. Well, he's a birther. Okay, he kept saying that. Oh, I've sent my team to Hawaii and I'm waiting results on Obama's ability to be president. Now we've got proof. And I don't like the rhetoric that comes out of the White House today. I really don't. And I'd like to finish up with a question that Thomas started. Thomas, you mentioned that too many millionaires shouldn't be serving rich on us. Comfortable living? Well, yes. But you shouldn't be making such extraordinary. Your salary should also be taking care of any future campaign that you have. It should also be taking care of any support staff that you have, that type of thing. Yes, you're going to have a budget, but at the same time, you shouldn't be soaking the electorate, and you shouldn't be worrying about how you're going to pay for your reelection. Get out there and knock on the doors. Get out there and meet the people. Get out there and hear what they're saying. Identify yourself, introduce yourself, but then get out there and meet the people. I guess I'm going to have to beat Cantwell. And again, if you're just joining me, please share this video, this feed here, and go to this website here and check out the other live feeds that we've had, and share those too. Share those with on your page. I can't pay you for it, okay, but I'm eternally grateful if you can. And we've had several shares here in the last couple of days. But what you say, Thomas, about them getting rich serving us, they're not serving us if they're getting rich. They're not serving us. They're serving a select few. They're donors. That's all they're doing, is serving them. Not you and I. They're serving their donors. That's how they're becoming so rich. And it can't happen. That's not us. That's not our politics. I mean, I know in the early days they talked about, only landowners could vote. Well, there wouldn't be very many votes today. It'd be pretty easy to determine who won the election. But now, each and every one of us have the right to vote. If you're over 18, you have the right to vote. And you need to do that. You need to exercise your democracy. That's your muscle. That's your fight. That's your strength. Exercise it. Show them who's bad. Every time you vote, I don't care how upset you are with the system, but it's the system that we've got to make sure that we have the people's will being done. Not a few. Now 1%. Let's see, 1% of 350 million. How much is that? Can somebody give me a number? It's not very much, is it? But that's who's ruling the country. That's who's ruling the country. What you say don't mean a damn to them. What you need doesn't mean a damn to them. That's why you can't go to the doctor and afford health care. That's why grandma can't decide whether or not do I take my pills or do I eat. And when I eat, what can I eat? Can I have some cat food? Yeah, maybe. I like those. I like those little soft, crunchy bits, in the Kittles, This way, my kitty cat and I, we get to eat. Grandma shouldn't have to worry about ever eating. She shouldn't have to worry about whether or not she's going to take her medicine. Those people, that 1% or 2%, you take your number. It's still not a very big number, is it? They're the ones running this country. This is our country. And we need to enforce our voice. That's right, enforce our voice. Make it heard. Find loud, big mouths like me to put it out there. People who aren't afraid to speak the truth. People who aren't afraid to get up there in their face and tell them what they are. Do you want to forever live off the breadcrumbs of their table? I don't like snails. I don't like caviar. I don't like some of the crap and the high butter content that they eat. I don't like that. No, I don't. I don't. Why should any of us live off the crumbs of a rich man's table while they laugh at us? Find other ways that we can toil for less money. Why do we let it happen? We had something that happened right after our revolution. It was called the French Revolution. Remember that? Everybody hear about that? And you heard the ones, let them eat cake. Well, somebody said, well, back then cake was bread. I don't think that's what Marie Antoinette said before her head was chopped off. I'm not advocating destruction or harm to any of our leaders. I'm just advocating the removal of them from office so that people in there that really care about you, this country, and the world, our environment, the rising floods that we are going to be experiencing. And this example, I mean, I was on Interstate 10 just this past May. It looked like the Gulf of Mexico this week. We have to be prepared to do what we need to do, and that is to vote. That is your power, to vote. I mean, the district that I live in had one of the lowest turnouts in Tacoma. The district that I live in, my home, my precinct, the lowest in Tacoma. They were registered to vote. So we have to exercise that vote. We need to exercise our judicial freedom and exercise that vote and do it. I have to care. Lane, could you explain a little bit more that I have to care? Would you please? Lane Davis, you mentioned you have to care. Is that about the politicians that we have currently in office? Is that about us as a people? Help me out here, Lane. I see here that the paper ballots would probably be a good way. But we know what happened in Florida with paper ballots. Chad here, Chad there. Yeah, oh no, is that connected or do they need to push this one here? DNC should be no place close to verifying ballots. Our ballot office needs to be bipartisan with no influence from either party or independents or anyone so that the votes can be counted. But I thank you for joining me tonight, Lane. You have to care. I think everyone here right now that's in this feed do care. And how do we get them to do it? If you want to respond later privately, Lane, that's understandable too. But that is a subject. That is something that we don't see much of. We see it in micro communities, etc. We see that people do reach out to others. We see some heartwarming stories. But the thing that I'm also concerned about is how do our elected officials see it? Oh, right, that's money we don't have to spend. That's money we don't have to say, okay, it's on the way. Or we don't. That's an issue that we don't have to address. Or hats off to the EMTs that was there. Anytime that we as a community, that our government doesn't have to get involved, that is a good thing. But at the same time, our government needs to provide us the things that we pay for, that we are should be getting: safe roads, good highways, excellent schools for our children and college graduates to be one day, hospitals, healthcare, jobs, infrastructure, safe. I mentioned that roads tonight, but safe infrastructure. That means rail, airports, shipping, highways, automobiles need to be safer too. We need to move away from oil. But we need to start thinking how we can make that change. And that change is, one, registering to vote. Please share this video. We need to register to vote. We need to get out there and encourage other people to vote. When they come across with the apathy, well, it doesn't make a difference, but it does make a difference. It does make a difference. When you see thousands upon thousands of people out there in the street, when you see them out there in the street and they're protesting an issue, things start to happen. Now, wouldn't it be better if you could go out in the street and you could protest good things, great things that are happening, because your government sits back and, I don't know. I wonder if those lobbyists deposited that check yet. I hope they did, because I'm getting ready to vote on a bill, and if that money's not in the check, we're going to cancel the vote until I get that money in my checking account. You want that kind of government? I don't. That's what we got right now. Nobody listening to us. Nobody thinking about our care, our health, our well-being, our future, our security. Water we can't drink. Water tainted with heavy metals. Oil leaking into our aquifers. Water protectors being brutalized in all kinds of temperatures. People dying and missing because of mercenaries that are employed by these pipelines. Governors who allow the encroachment upon native territory and lands. An act of war. So, got to care. Got to take care. We have to care. We have to care what our future is going to be like. We have to care what we can do now. We can't take the attitude, well, somebody else will do it. You cannot do that. If there's something that you want, if there's something you need, didn't you tell your mom and dad, hey, I sure would like to have, hey. And mom and dad would work harder so that you could have it. But that's not what's happening right now in Washington, D.C. That's not what's happening. We've got to make that change. You need to vote. You need to register to vote. You need to scrutinize the candidates and vote. VOTE, four-letter word, you know. Get out there, make a difference. Help me make a difference. Share this video with your friends so that it can get out there. Okay. We've been in here for a good time, and we've had some people mention things that they were concerned with. And I hope that I've answered those. This weekend, we'll probably make pre-recorded broadcasts that you can watch at a later date. It's the holiday. I'd like to spend some time with my family if I could. And I encourage you to spend some time with your loved ones as well. I want you to remember, too, that I'm going up against a Democratic incumbent senator. It's not going to be easy. I need your help. I need you to share. I need you to tell me what's on your mind. I need you to ask your friends to join in. Even if you don't live in this state, I need you to join in and check it out and help the word get out. I am not the only independent out there. I'm not the only progressive out there. Okay? I need to get through the primaries. They're kind of weird out here in Washington. There can be 23 people on the ballot. There may be only 4. There may be 5. There may be 2. But whatever the number of people running in the primaries, I need to be in the top 2 to go to the general. And that's where I need your help, helping me get the word out. I am so ready to go talk to people here in the state of Washington. And for you, those of you who are outside the state of Washington, I still need you to talk to other progressives. I need you to talk and follow them, see what they're doing, vet them, make sure their talk is just not talk. And just remember this also about me. You can say anything you want to me, but I encourage you to ask any question of me that you want to. I will answer it. And I'll answer it in a live feed so that you can get your response. And if you're going, and if it's something that you really need badly, you'll be able to download the video and copy and paste the segment of where we addressed your particular issue. Okay? And I don't think I get any hill bots on here or any trolls or anything like that. But if I do, welcome. Welcome. Just don't bother the people that came here to find out what we can do and how we can work together. Don't bother them. Okay? Happy holidays, everyone. Do be safe. And keep your loved ones close. I mean, these are the times that make life so beautiful, so rich. Enjoy their time. Have fun. Be safe. Remember your sunscreen if you're going to be out and about in the sun. Watch yourself around water. Okay? Have some good food. And if you're in Tacoma, stop by. Send me a private message if you're going to be there, and I'll make sure that you get directions, okay? It's going to be fun. We've got people coming all over. We've been inviting people as we run into them on the street and everything. Oh, yeah, you got to come by. We're going to have a big cookout, celebrate the summer, 3 years in our neighborhood, and it's a great neighborhood. And whatever, you're welcome. If you want to come, I'll give you the address so you can get here. Google it and get on the map and go. And then once you get close, you'll smell. Oh, the foods. I know some of you might be going to the fair. I don't have any rides or anything, but I can give you a down slope. So you go down the hill, on your skateboard, or put your car in neutral and roll down the hill, or I can offer you really good food and company. The neighbors here are looking forward to seeing as many of you come by as possible. It's a great time. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have the Wi-Fi music going. I have a playlist that I like. It's and it'll be YouTube, and we'll be blasting all kinds of music out all day long. Come on over to the east side. What's that Dido song? Moving on over to the east side. Okay. Anyway, that's it. Dido sings that, I think. But come on over. Have some fun. We'll have plenty of water for those of you who love water, like me. And so have a great evening. God bless you. We'll be doing pre-recorded messages this weekend so that I can spend time with my family, and I encourage you to do the same. Happy holidays, and thank you for joining me. Thank you. God bless America.